Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, I will be briefing you about writing non-functional requirements and architecture related explanation on a simple applications that you have proposed as a part of completing IS5803 assignments. See, any application that we create, for that we are supposed to create functional requirements and non-functional requirements. Functional requirements is already done by you. Usually functional requirement speaks about the functionality, the application that you are creating. Okay, maybe for example, you are supposed to include login module where using which we will be logging onto the application. And after logging onto the application, what it should do, like how payment should be calculated. Means it speaks most of the times about the operations, business activities that we perform using the application. Non-functional requirements are different when compared to functional requirements. These requirements are mostly related to appearance, speed, security, and availability and reliability. These aspects mostly, other than functional requirements, all other aspects will be covered in non-functional requirements. So identifying non-functional requirement is also very crucial. Here we broadly classified non-functional requirements into operational requirements, performance requirements, availability and reliability, cultural and political requirements, and we try to explain and finally security requirements. These are most important elements that should be covered in this report. If you observe the Excel sheet, it clearly gives what factors we are considering. What is the definition of this fact? For example, if you take technical, what is it means? And an example is also given here. Okay. So by using this, by looking at the example, you will understand what is meant by technical requirement. So here, after understanding the uh, template that is given, at this section, you are supposed to write what is your non-functional requirement with respect to technical aspect. Before you start writing about your system, try to cross check what is your application, and some important documents that are already written by you, please cross check them and then start writing these non-functional requirements. Let us start with operational requirements. The first one is technical requirement. Here, if you observe the definition and example, we speak about some special technical technologies that are required for making sure that our application continuously run. Okay, to if like for example, yours is a online website, right? For that, internet is continuously should be kept on. It's wherever the server is located, when that server should be continuously available on internet, so that people who are connecting to the application using online, they can get connected to the application. So that can be a simple example. So you try to evaluate your own option and make sure that you write it properly, and make sure that everybody don't write same answer. So you should have your own idea about your application and you should write about that. The second one is system integration. Sometimes what happens is whatever the application we create, for example, you have an appointment management system. Maybe we need some time management application should be integrated with our application to ensure, like maybe to use calendar, to schedule interviews. For that purpose, maybe we might be using additional systems. Let us make a simple example of another thing. Maybe if you are making payments online, so we need payment gateway system. Payment gateway systems are usually not owned by the company, right? Like maybe for example, if we are using HDFC related payment gateway, so bank will be providing that. So we are supposed to, our application should be integrated with that payment gateway system to ensure that payments are made online. In that way, if you need some if your application requires documentation, maybe Microsoft Office, we are supposed to integrate with Microsoft 365 applications in that way. So maybe we need some kind of systems that should be integrated with our application to make sure that our application perform better, whatever the website we are creating, that perform better. Next one is portability. Portability means ability to run application on any platform. For example, If you design a application and if you use Chrome, if you use Firefox, any other internet agent, the application should be run on that particular uh, internet agent. Okay, so on those internet agents, you are supposed to run the application. So for the last point, maintainability, it is very simple thing. Like whenever a new change that occurs to application, the application should be ready to accept that particular change. For example, you want to create a new model or you want to create a new web page which will be offering some kind of services to the customer, that should be acceptable. So we simply say that the application is uh, open to some any changes that happen to it. Maybe some new changes, some new scope can be written to the application. Okay, in that way you just simplify it and write related to that. Maybe each for each point one sentence is enough. Don't make it too complex. It's a simple task. Next, it is performance requirements. First one is speed. For example, if we observe when we are trying to access internet web pages, some pages will be loaded quickly, some pages will be loaded very slow. So based on that, we say that our application should be giving better access to the customer so that the application is immediately available when they click on the link. Okay, so here it is mentioned about time. You write it in your own style. Need not to mention it in the same way. You can say that the application should be accessed immediately. Maybe in 0.1 second it should be opened. In that way you can say. Next one, capacity. See, usually like when you create a application based on the server acceptability, the number of people at a time they can connect to the application will be decided. So we can say at a time how many people can send a request to the server will be limited. Maybe 10,000 people. Means on in 1 second we are supposed to serve 10,000 customers. That is the maximum limit. In that way you can set some maximum limit to your application. You are supposed to explain that. You are supposed to mention that. Okay, maybe one person can say 8,000 customers, 10,000 customers, 1,000 customers, 100 customers in 1 second in that way. Okay, maximum when everybody is using the application, how many people the application can serve. Okay, beyond that, it won't offer. For example, you can see in your offices, maybe when you are connecting to Wi-Fi, after maximum connections like 30 connections, 40 connections, it won't accept get new connection. Okay, so in that way, there will be certain capacity limits that should be understood. Next, availability and reliability. Okay, availability and reliability. We are supposed to speak about importance of being available of application. For example, if you take United States and some developed countries, if application is not available to the regular customer, they sue the organization. Okay, for $1 million. Even if application is not available when they want to use it, they will go to court saying that this application is not available. So you are supposed to make sure that 99.99% or 100% the application is available for access, and whatever the information that is stored, that is properly stored onto the application. Okay, so related to this point, you just write one two lines of statement here explaining that your application will be available to customers continuously. Next, security requirements. You can see that system value estimates. So what could be the worth of your system if some security system issue happens? Okay, you are supposed to estimate that. You can give your own value. And access control. So access control means, so for example, when we are logging onto the application, there will be different type of users. Maybe manager will be using, team manager will be using, employees will be using, and lower scale people also get connect to the application. Customers get connect to the application. Partners, that like people who are suppliers and vendors, they also get connected to the applications most of the time. So based on their role and based on their importance to the organization, the access will be controlled. For example, administrator of the application will have complete access. Manager will have, based on this role, whatever the activities he should perform, for those actions only the application should support. If you take employee, it should be limited to his defined role. Okay, so means based on the role the access will be provided to the people. Simply you can mention that, okay, in your own words. Next, encryption and authentication. See, encryption, what it does, For example, by mistake, some access is given to you. Though you are not a manager, by mistake, the application gave you access. Then what it should do? It should hide the information. Like actual information should not be shown unless you give exact ID and password. Okay, so this what it means encryption. Encryption always hides data from unauthorized access. Okay, so whatever the data that will be stored on the application will be in encrypted format every time, because when some unauthorized users get access to the application, data will be secured from them. Okay, we will be hiding the data from them. Though they see the data, it will be in encrypted format. Okay, so we simply say that we encourage, like you will be including encryption and authentication measures on your data that should be mentioned here, so that unauthorized access can be avoided, or disclosure privacy of the data is protected. Okay, just read what is the purpose of encryption and authentication. Based on that, you just write a simple sentence related to that. Virus control, it is internet based. Internet is vulnerable to different type of viruses. So we make sure that our website is protected from viruses. So our server and application is made secure by implementing antivirus softwares and other security measures. Okay, so that should be mentioned here. Like we simply say that we at our operations center, means where our servers are present, we will be implementing some sort of security measures will be implemented, so that virus and other security attacks are controlled. Okay, so that is for this section. So simply, like whatever you write, all are simple sentences that you write. Okay, so don't make it complex. Try to understand and simply write it. Okay, so multilingual. See whether your application supports multilingual or not. You can say that our application will just support English. Otherwise, based on your country, like for example, the company will be the website will be open in French also maybe. So if it opens in different country, different locations, you should also support your application to show in multilingual formats. Okay, that should be mentioned. For example, if the same application means customization means, for example, when we are shopping online, if you are using US site, then there will be a currency converters at some corner. By clicking on that, the currency that is showing in dollars will be converted and shown in Indian rupees, which will be very easy for us. Okay, that is what we call customization. Okay, simply for any purpose, any issues that like mostly as when we are paying, this kind of system will be useful. However, it depends. Like if your application needs some customization kind of thing, then you can go for that. All right. So customization is related, making unstated norms explicit. So if your site, like you can simply say that if your site, mostly our websites will be run inside the US only. So what you say, as it is operating in within the same country, it's not required actually. So for example, if in US basically between states there will be different policies. So you are supposed to say that whenever the organization, whenever the application, maybe for your application is run in different countries or different states, then the application should understand policies that are existing in those countries, and based on that you should work. Okay, so legal policies and unstated norms that should be understood, and we should follow those things. Okay, we are you are supposed to make two comments related to that. All right, so this is all about this Excel sheet. After that, there is a Word document. So second one is you are supposed to give a summary of your architectural design. See, just we simply divide it into different parts. Let me show. So this is the format of your Word document. In this, you are supposed to discuss about architectural design that we use as a part of developing the application. See, the architecture diagram here, maybe if you are familiar with the architecture, software architecture or network architecture, it will be easy for you to write it. But still, even you can write and you can simply write it. I will tell you the simple loophole. Here we use client server model. Okay, thin or thick client server model, that depends, because thin or thick client server model depends on the size of the website that we are creating. So the first thing is we use the client server model. Now you should understand whether we use thin client or thick client. Okay, based on that we can decide. Okay, whether we will be using a thin client server model or a thick client server model. Here some we have some options here. So we know that ours is a very simple application. So our cost, our budget, estimated budget will be very definitely very low. So then based on that, you can simply say that we will be using thin client. Okay, thin client because it is cheaper. Power consumption is very low and local services required are very limited and the function offline not required because we already mentioned earlier that our application should be continuously online. Customizability by the end users very less. So but anyhow it encourages but still it is very low. IT resources requirement very less. IT resources required and mobility is higher. Security is more secure. Okay, so we use these are the reasons that we have to conclude that we use thin client. All right, so make sure that you mentioned that thin client and cross check on internet. These are some differences that we can identify which is best for us. Okay, if you have enough budget that is allocated, go for thick client. Okay, client server model, thick client server model, that is fine. And in addition to this, you are supposed to do some basic research outside from some journal articles or internet based research should be conducted to give proper detailing related to that. Okay, this is the major difference that we can identify and quote which is best model. Okay, so the second question is related to two tier or three tier model. And there is a simple explanation that is created here. So usually like when we developing application, we use three different layers. One is data layer, second one is business layer and client layer. That is most of the web application follow the same format. Okay, so you simply say that we use three tier not DB architecture. Three tier architecture will be used as ours is a web application. Okay, then you start writing about three tier architecture. See how it should be written. Simply, first you say you try to mention what is your architecture, then mention about thin client server model or thick client server model, then give a nice image of a three tier model, an image of three tier model that should be included. Then start explaining what is three tier model, why you implemented three tier model. Totally like totally we write approximately 300 words. Okay, one page 300 350 words, assume the 350 words. Okay, so this is your architecture. Okay, so this is 350 words and for this Excel sheet you write hardly one line for each point, one line for each point. This will come across 3 400 words, so total 700 words on this complete task. Okay, make sure you give better content because this is a repetitive task. Next time also we might get it. So give some good understanding, throw some good light on the topics and complete it. All the best. Thank you.